Okay, so Bell tests. This is um this is one of those topics where it is very easy to say something that sounds thrilling and is just wrong. So let me build it up slowly. Start with something ordinary. Two coins. You send one to a friend in another city, and every single time they match. Both heads, or both tails. That is not mysterious. Obviously, somebody decided in advance what each coin would be painted before they left the room. The correlation was baked in at the source. And that is exactly what Einstein thought was going on with entangled particles. In 1935, with Podolsky and Rosen, he argued if measuring one particle instantly tells you about the other, then either something travels faster than light, unacceptable, or the answer was sitting there all along. The particles carry, little instruction sheets, hidden variables. Quantum theory never mentions them, so the theory must be incomplete. And for nearly 30 years, that stayed a matter of taste. No experiment could tell the two camps apart. Then, in 1964, John Bell did something that still strikes me as almost unfair. He found a way to settle it. Here is the idea, and it is the heart of the whole business. Do not measure the two particles the same way every time. Measure along different angles, chosen randomly. Then look at how often the outcomes agree, across all combinations. Bell proved something remarkable. If the answers were written down beforehand, any instruction sheet, however clever, then the agreement rate has a ceiling, a number it cannot exceed. That is a Bell inequality, and quantum mechanics predicts you sail right past it. So it stopped being philosophy. It became an experiment with a number attached. Now, running that experiment turned out to be brutally hard, and this is where the word loophole comes in. Because a Bell test is sort of a courtroom trial, and nature gets a defense lawyer. Three defenses. The detection loophole. Detectors are leaky, and if you catch only 20% of your particles, maybe those are not a fair sample. Sounds absurd, but sounds absurd is not a proof. The locality loophole. If the two stations sit close together, Station A can quietly signal Station B at ordinary light speed. And the freedom of choice loophole? Those angles must be genuinely, freely chosen. If whatever picks them is itself correlated with the particles, the argument collapses. Alain Aspect shut part of this in 1982 in Paris. But for 30 years, every experiment closed one door while another stood open. A skeptic could always answer, fine, but never all at once. Which brings us to 2015. In October, Ronald Hansen's group in Delft published the first one. Their trick was electron spins in diamond nitrogen vacancy centers, read out with essentially perfect efficiency, no detection loophole. And they put the two setups 1,280 meters apart, so light could not carry the news in time. Both doors bolted, simultaneously. Then, in December, two photon experiments landed on the very same day. One at NIST in Boulder, led by Christer Schalm and Se-Woo Nam. One in Vienna, led by Marissa Justina and Anton Zeilinger. Different hardware superconducting detectors finally efficient enough to beat fair sampling. Same verdict. Three groups, two continents, 1 year. That is why 2015 is the date people name. And it did not stop. In 2017, Zeilinger's team used starlight to choose the angles. In 2018, quasars' light emitted billions of years ago. Any conspiracy arranging those correlations in advance had to be in place at least 7.8 billion years back. And in 2022, Aspect, John Clauser, and Zeilinger shared the Nobel Prize for the whole arc. Now what this does not mean. It does not mean you can send a message faster than light. Stare at either detector alone and you see nothing but noise. The correlation appears only when you bring both lists together, and that comparison crawls at ordinary speed. Nothing is being signaled. What it does mean is narrower and stranger. The world cannot be both local and made of properties that have definite values before you look. One of those has to go. Which one? Well, that is still a choice, and physicists genuinely disagree. And one loophole can never be closed. Ever superdeterminism. The notion that the choices, the particles, the experimenters, everything were correlated from the beginning. You can push it back, but never eliminate it, because any experiment is itself a piece of the universe it interrogates. So here is the picture I keep returning to. For 50 years, we tried to catch nature hiding an instruction sheet. We shut every door in the room, one at a time, until there was nowhere left. And what we found was there was no instruction sheet. The answers really were not there before we asked.